Well, good morning. It is November 23rd. This is Kicking Sciatica's Butt, or I used to call it Let's Kick Sciatica Out of the Butt. Who is this webinar for? Who is this webinar for? It's for anyone who's dealing with sciatica or piriformis syndrome issues. This webinar is for you if you're frustrated and feeling hopeless because you haven't gotten relief from your pain. It is for you if you're feeling overwhelmed, overlooked, and not taken seriously by those around you. It is for you if you have not found significant relief thus far. It's also for you if you've been missing out on doing the things that you love with the people who mean the most to you. This webinar is for you if you want understanding as to why what you've been doing has not worked. And it's for you if you are serious about wanting real help, real answers, and real relief. And people often ask me, why are you taking time to do this webinar? Basically, I love helping people and getting them back on track with their lives. After looking up loads of information online about sciatica and piriformis syndrome, I, as a physical therapist of 27 years, I got confused and I assumed others would be as well. Should I be bending forward? Should I be bending backward? Should I stretch or not? Do I demand an MRI? Do I request to see a surgeon? Will this wrap or strap or TENS unit or inversion table work? Do I need ice or heat? Does the TENS machine fix this? Is an inversion table helpful? I have a herniated disc. How come I'm not having surgery? What do I do? Will this ever go away? Will I ever be normal again? Then I started looking on numerous Facebook groups, and people were telling their stories and sharing their struggles, which is absolutely awesome, because knowing that you are not alone is a huge comfort to many people. And people started giving advice. And I started realizing at this juncture that I would be able to step in and help, because everyone is unique and different. And really, what works for you may not work for another person. And even though two people may have the same exact diagnosis, their symptoms and treatment can be very, very different when it comes to sciatica and piriformis syndrome. Oftentimes, symptoms can sound identical, but the source of the problem is very different. And what I started seeing on a lot of these groups is people were saying, hey, try this rub. Hey, try this cream. Hey, try this drug. Hey, try this TENS unit. Hey, try this traction unit. Hey, do this inversion table. Hey, this strap is a miracle. Hey, this wrap is a miracle. And people would take their suggestions because they're desperate, and I totally understand that. I am not blaming anyone for trying to help. I'm not blaming anyone for trying to get relief whatsoever. But I realized there was so much confusing information, and if people started taking everyone else's recommendations just because an anecdotal thing worked for somebody, whether it was a fluke or not, whether it worked or not, people were just getting frustrated because they were trying so many things, not getting the results that anybody else was, and it was driving them crazy, and rightfully so. Then, after asking how much people had spent on their care, the ranges were from $70 to $100 a week to $1,000 in the first 5 to 6 weeks to $3,000 packages at various offices with no relief, to those spending $30,000 to $100,000 on every treatment and gadget possible and anything to try to get relief. And you know what? I understand. So after all that, here I am, hopefully to help clarify, simplify, and give some understanding to you. So who am I and why am I doing this? My name is Dean Volk. I am a physical therapist. I have a master's in physical therapy. PT all around the rest of the world is a physiotherapist. I've got 27 plus years experience since graduating and being licensed. I have a master's degree, which is 3 years postgraduate studies. I had to pass a national licensing exam to become a practicing physical therapist. I currently own 2 clinics in Charlotte, North Carolina, one mobile concierge clinic in Charleston, South Carolina, and since last May, I'm the founder of Sciatica Relief Now, which is online sciatica help. But here I am working on some clients. Here I am doing this exact webinar, except this is a workshop in my office. This gentleman served in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. One of the kindest, most gentle men you'd ever want to meet. He just turned 91 this year, and one of my favorite patients, and this is the love of my life and quite a beauty. Her name rhymes with it. That's my wife, Trudy. And here's my son, Jesse, who is a photographer in Los Angeles, California. Moved him out in October. My son, Benj, who recently got a double master's degree from Bard College in New York. He got an MBA in sustainability and a master's in environmental policy. And here they are at Benjamin's graduation at College of Charleston. There's one of my favorite 2 pictures of all times when they were like 6 and 4 or 7 and 5. This is a picture of Betty White, although not the Betty White that everybody knows, but when she told me her name, I said, would you mind if I just take a picture of you so I can tell people I treated Betty White? I'm also a new author of a book called Sciatica Relief Now. I'm a health and wellness writer in the Charleston Mercury newspaper. I'm a guest sports and medicine writer at the Charleston Oblique magazine. I'm a health and wellness writer at the Independent Tribune, a newspaper in Cabarrus County, North Carolina. For my UK viewers, Paul Goff, who is a leading UK physio who owns multiple private practices in Northern England, in Hartlepool, Darlington, Durham, and Guilsborough, he endorses me as the, quote, go-to physio for sciatica in the world, unquote. I cared for a member of his staff through some video consultations who has not dealt with sciatica now in more than a year. And now when they have issues with a client there, they actually use me for assistance. He's the author of the Healthy Habit book, several PT business books. He writes for numerous papers. He's a regular panelist on the BBC, as well as being a sought-after speaker all over the world for PT business growth and development, and recently moved to the Celebration area of Orlando, Florida, and is now a dear friend of mine, Paul Goff. So I just wanted to set out a quick webinar agenda so you know what to expect. First, I want to talk about the common complaints, frustrations, various symptoms, and things that I've learned and heard from clients over the past 27 plus years, so you know that you are not alone. I want to explain what sciatica is and piriformis syndrome so that you can see the symptoms, the similarities, etc. Then I want to talk about the 3 most common causes of sciatica and back pain. Then I'm going to share some eye-opening statistics about MRIs and scans, and you will see from that why I am not a massive proponent of MRIs and scans for you when you first get diagnosed with any type of back or sciatica issue. Then I'm going to talk about some crazy guy named Dean's approach and talk about the incredible results people are finding and getting when using my techniques. I'm going to give you an opportunity to volunteer for some help live online. We will turn the webinar off. We will get our cameras on, and if you would like, I would love to be able to try to show you some things, give you some real easy things to try to do. And then I want to give you some opportunities that you can take advantage of today or tomorrow. But before Monday, I've got some Black Friday specials that I'm going to be running for a limited time. Do any of these stories sound familiar to you? It all started slowly with an occasional discomfort when I would do some yard work, housework, do some working out, go for a walk, play tennis or golf, etc. But over time, it's become more and more intense and consistent. Initially, I noted some stiffness in the mornings, and over time, it would get stiff and sore after sitting for a while. Now, the pain and stiffness is constant throughout the day. I notice pain in the morning, but the more I'm up and around, the better it feels. But if I'm up and around all day, by the end of the day and the next day, it's significantly worse. I felt a twinge in my back, and it slowly progressed to a constant nagging ache. It's only in my leg and in my foot, occasionally in my butt, but my back feels fine. I can be very active. I can work out, bike, run, do most things that I want to do and love. But an hour or two later, I suffer the consequences, and the pain is unbearable. Laying down and sleeping is the worst, and I just can't get comfortable. I bent over and it's not been right ever since. I'm in agony most of the time, and I want some help. Have you ever heard yourself say any of these things? I don't know why I am going through this. I don't know what I did. There is no comfortable position. Nothing is helping. I'm scared to move too much, but I get stiff and sore if I don't move. I didn't do anything to cause this. It hurts all the way from my butt to my ankle. Any little motion is excruciating. I can't find a comfortable position. If I can just get a little bit of sleep, And I'm going to make a confession here. Those are all things that my wife told me at 2 in the morning. Actually, she didn't tell me that. She woke up one morning and told me that it hurt from her butt to her ankle. And I thought she was kidding me because this was about a month after I started doing the research and talking to her about. And when she started walking around like a 95-year-old after getting in bed, I said, "You're not kidding me." She goes, "Why would I kid you?" I said, "Well, I figured after a month and a half of hearing about it, you were just literally pulling my leg." So that led to me starting to work with her. And at 2 o'clock the next morning, she woke up and those 10 things that I just rattled off, she started saying those at 2 in the morning. I said, "What did you say?" And she mentioned something else, ran to the computer and literally just typed out what she said. I know that's bad form for a compassionate, loving, empathetic husband. But I got back into bed and said, "Trudy, you just helped me immensely." She goes, "How so?" I said, "Because these are things that people who are in your condition are going to be saying. And now at least I can relate to them because I hear you and I understand what you're saying. And I understand now better what they are going through." So straight from our Facebook page, do any of these sound familiar to you? You know that crawling across the floor in pain can barely tie your shoe feeling? I got to fly off for vacation and I am dreading the flights. For the last 8 weeks, I've been in constant pain. Riding in the car is absolutely brutal. I sleep for an hour or two, then the pain is excruciating. I've tried everything, but nothing works. Who has the all day, every day butt and leg pain? Sciatica is just a good old pain in the arse. That's obviously from one of my UK friends. So, in order to get started here, let's start moving along and talking about what sciatica is. In order to understand what sciatica is, you got to understand what the sciatic nerve is. And as you can see from this picture on the left, the sciatic nerve is made up of 5 nerve roots that come out of L4, L5, S1, S2, and S3. That stands for lumbar spine, 4 and 5, sacral spine, S1, 2, and 3. You can see how they come out and form this basically medium-sized thumb thickness nerve. It is the thickest nerve in the body. It runs right through the middle of the bum, goes down the back of the leg, and if you move to the picture on the right, you have the same picture just expanded. You see how it runs down right through the hamstring muscle in the back of the leg. It splits behind the knee. One part of the nerve, the common fibular nerve, goes to the fibula bone, which is on the outside of the leg, the lateral part of the leg, and the tibial nerve, which goes right down the center of the back of the leg and the calf. So sciatica is literally, it's just a generic name, although it definitely doesn't feel generic, for any irritation anywhere along the sciatic nerve. And the 3 main points where the sciatic nerve typically irritates is right in the middle of the hamstring, right in the middle of the calf, and right in the foot. Now, if you do not have those 3 places, do not panic, because sciatica can be anywhere from the low back through the butt all the way down to the foot. It can affect the whole leg. It can affect one little part of the leg. It can hurt 2 of these 3, 3 of these 3, none of those 3, and be numbness, tingling, shooting pains. The typical, anything you could think of that a nerve can do, that's the type of pain that you can have from your butt all the way down to your foot and toes. So now that we know what sciatica is, what is piriformis syndrome? And if you've seen these 2 pictures on our Facebook page, you've been around a while, because I've been posting those for people to show, because so many people do these stretches. The problem is they do them to the painful side, and we're going to talk about why that's a massive no-no here shortly. But this is what a typical person with piriformis syndrome would look like when they try to walk or try to stand up initially from sitting down, and they're grabbing their painful side, which we're going to find out is a massive no-no as well. So what is the piriformis muscle? All right, this is the picture from the sciatic nerve, and you can see I highlighted the piriformis muscle, and you can see the close proximity of that sciatic nerve to the piriformis muscle. In approximately 20 to 22% of the population, that sciatic nerve splits that piriformis muscle into 2. Actually, it doesn't split into 2, it just runs right down in between and splits the piriformis muscle itself. Those are the people primarily who would suffer from piriformis syndrome, because when the piriformis muscle is injured, most people get sciatica symptoms simply because of that proximity. And when the piriformis muscle is injured, it's going to squeeze and tighten around that sciatic nerve. That's why these two things are so closely linked together. So piriformis syndrome is it's an irritation of the piriformis muscle, which causes pain, whether it's from an injury, a muscle spasm, muscle tightness, any problem in the piriformis muscle can be classified as piriformis syndrome. Most commonly, it's due to overuse, whether you're a runner or a biker, or from an injury where you fell straight down on your butt. And a lot of people get confused because this syndrome can actually come on years and years after a direct strike on that piriformis muscle. The symptoms are pain in the buttocks and hip, but due to the proximity of that sciatic nerve, the symptoms can mimic sciatica with pain, numbness, tingling, electrical-like shocks from the butt to the toes. But the big distinguishing factor between this and sciatica, although some sciatica people can still feel this, it feels like you're sitting on a knot or a ball, or there's just this uncomfortable, rock-like, marble-like sensation right in the center of your butt as you sit on it. And for most people with piriformis syndrome, it's extremely painful to sit on a hard surface for any length of time. And I think I said this already, but studies of the sciatic nerve show that about 80% of the time it runs behind or below the muscle. In 5 to 10% of the people it runs above and in front of the muscle, and in about 8. And this has changed now from 10 to 22%, actually 15 to 22%, it pierces right through the muscle belly. So, which of these makes your back or leg pain worse? Sitting, standing, laying down, twisting, leaning backwards, walking, bending, or is the pain just constant and unrelenting? And does everybody know what the biggest mistake that most people make initially with this pain? They simply ignore their pain and their symptoms. Because most of the time when people are in their late teens, 20s, and early 30s, we live with a certain amount of pain, an ache or a pain here and there, and it tends to go away because we're younger and healthier. Guess what happens when we hit our mid-30s and get into our 40s? People like me in their 50s, and you get in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, your body does not respond as well. And when you ignore sciatica or piriformis syndrome for more than 7 to 10 days and it doesn't go away, guess what? You're going to need some type of intervention to get some relief. So, the 3 most common causes of back pain or sciatica. We're going to sort of whip right through these. There's a bulging or herniated disc, stenosis, DDD, which stands for degenerative disc disease or arthritis. And number 3 is the SI joint dysfunction. So these are the 3 most common causes. Let's go through them really quickly. The bulging or herniated disc. On the left side is a normal healthy disc, and I like to explain this as sort of a jelly-like donut. These are annular fibers that run all the way around the disc. This is the spine. So this is your back. This is if you were laying on your back with your feet through your screen, your head popping out at you. And every time you bend forward, guess what happens? This jelly substance moves back and back and back and back. And over time, it typically wears out and these fibers can tear. This is a herniation. A bulge would be as if all these fibers were still connected and there was just a bulge. And let's see, I think I have a picture of a bulge here and then a large bulge where it herniates actually all the way out of the circular area around the disc. And you can see the close proximity to the nerves and why a bulge can push in these spots right here that you're seeing. That's where the spinal cord runs down and these nerves run out. Remember when we talked about L4, L5 nerves? That's where they come out right there. Stenosis, degenerative disc disease, or arthritis. This is what a healthy spine looks like, nice and clean with big spaces. Here's what degenerative disc disease and arthritis looks like. And you can see at L5 here, I'm sorry, here is L5, here's L4. So L4-5 disc. You can see that compared to all the other discs are shrunken. And you can see how this nerve root is being compressed because the degenerative disc causes this foramen or hole where the nerve comes out to shrink. So guess what? If you lean forward in this and you have degenerative disc disease and stenosis, that will open up that spot and decrease pain. That's why if you have stenosis and you're shopping and you lean on a shopping cart, pain minimizes. Or when you bend forward, pain minimizes. Whereas if you lean backwards, it would be excruciating pain. Then the SI joint or pelvis problems. This is the front part of you, or the sacrum and the ilium, which means SI joint. That's where SI comes from, sacroiliac joint. And there's your SI joints from your back. They are the cute little dimples in your back. So there is good news now that you know the 3 causes. Actually, it's great news. And what I'm going to do on the following slides is show you stats of people who have absolutely no symptoms, but most likely have similar or worse MRI findings than most of you on this call. Recent studies are showing that a disc can actually resolve, a disc issue can resolve on its own. And we're not sure whether the disc reabsorbs its own leakage and pulls itself back in, or the body detects the leakage as a foreign substance and it gets attacked by our immune system and basically shrinks it and eats it away. Or it could just be that there's decreased water absorption capability from the injured disc and it causes it to shrink back in size. And guess what? Who cares why the disc actually heals itself? The result is a definite decrease in size of a herniation or a bulge. And that is awesome, awesome news for anybody who's got a disc problem, simply because there's hope that it can actually heal on its own. So here we have some eye-opening statistics. These are spinal images in people who have absolutely no symptoms. You can see that by the time people are 30 years old, 52% of the people who had no symptoms had disc degeneration, which means some stenosis. 40% of those people had disc bulges, and nearly 3 out of 10 had disc protrusions or herniations. By the time you're 40, nearly 70% of people who have absolutely no symptoms. So that's normal. 70% of normal people have disc degeneration, and half have disc bulges. 1/3 have disc herniations. And you can see by the time you're 60, if you don't have disc degeneration or a bulge, you're kind of in the minority. Now, I show these to give you hope, to know that just because you have an MRI that's not normal, so to speak, and it says, hey, you've got some stenosis, degeneration, and a bulge, it does not mean you have to have pain, because all these people here on these findings were absolutely symptom-free. So guess what? They're symptom-free today. If tomorrow all of a sudden they develop back pain and they go in for an MRI, guess what it's going to show? The same exact thing that they had yesterday when they had no pain. So you can conclude that, is that bulge really the problem? We don't know. So to me, that is great news for some people who have actually been told, you know what, your problem is because you have a bulging disc or a herniated disc. And that's just not so all the time. So how do I treat any problem? So how do I treat any problem? I treat it through a treatment technique called total motion release. It was a technique developed by a gentleman who lives in the Raleigh-Durham area. His name is Tom Delonzo Baker. And since I met him about 15 years ago, we've become great friends. He's a great guy. Basically stumbled across a couple principles. He started using it and developed a whole treatment technique that, to me, is revolutionizing things that we do in physical therapy. Basically, what it says and how I treat people is whenever there's pain, stiffness, tightness, soreness, discomfort, or achiness anywhere in the body is amazing at continuing to function. And what it does, it naturally compensates for itself, which causes an imbalance, whether it's a tightening or loosening compared to normal. What that does is cause an imbalance right side versus left side in your body, because while some muscles are tightening, others are loosening. When you have pain in one area, the muscles in that area try to compensate and help, number one, alleviate pain, number two, stabilize the area so no more damage occurs. What that means is the muscles around those have to do the same, the muscles around those, And basically your whole body, your muscular system is compensating for itself, which puts an abnormal stress to the entire body. What I do, I focus on clearing out those compensations first before I attack the issue itself. And what I'm finding is when I attack the compensations, pain minimizes. Just as an example, I had a lady come in yesterday who has a possible medial meniscus and medial collateral ligament tear on her right knee. I found out that she had a big imbalance in her trunk rotations. I had her trunk rotate to her good side 2 sets of 25 times, had her stand up, and you should have watched her face. She goes, hey, the middle part of my knee's not burning like it was. What'd you do? And I said, nothing, you did it. Let's do it again. She did 2 more sets of 25 times, said, wow, this is as good as it's felt since I've been injured. And all I did was cleared out the imbalances that her hips and her thighs were doing that were causing an extra strain through her area of injury. And by releasing that, I released a lot of her pain, and she was able to walk with much less pain, much less limp. So I find what is comfortable, what's easy to move and not painful, and I focus on those activities. Because think about it. When you put your body in a position of comfort and ease, what happens? Your body relaxes, the tension in your body eases, and you're not guarded as much. And this basically causes the body to relax, it eases tension, and it calms symptoms. And what I do is I avoid painful movements, as this causes the body to guard, tighten, and causes other parts of the body to over or underwork depending on what the issue is, and it can aggravate underlying issues even further. So, does it work? You tell me. Let's hear what people are saying. Danielle, I believe she was from New Jersey. She said, guys, I finally had my one-on-one chat with Dean Volk, and let me tell you, I've done physical therapy twice and had to stop because it did nothing but made my pain worse. He gave me a few stretches to try, and that was honestly the first time I laid down and barely had any pain in 8 months. Wow. Do yourself a favor, set up a chat with him. I cannot wait to continue these stretches to improve. Tina White, who many of you have probably seen on the page, she is now a co-administrator because I know I can't keep up with everything. And I said, hey, would you help me out? She said, I did something today that I've not done in about 2 decades. I'm talking 20 years, people. She went for a walk for 2 miles at a local reservoir. Sorry about that. Thank you for changing my life. And then Joanne Nardo, who may actually be on this call. Good morning. So I'm really scared. I don't want to move. For the first time in 5 years, I woke up almost pain-free. I had 1 brief consultation with Dean, did 2 exercises that he showed me, did them again before bed, and woke up a new person. How does this happen? For the first time since this nightmare started, I'm cautiously optimistic. For those attending live, got a great offer for you. You get a free 30-minute video consultation with me because I want to hear your story. I want to help you sort some things out, get things some straightened out, and give some advice on an exercise or 2. There's no strings attached, no obligation for anything else beyond that. It's just my way of saying thanks for showing up. And if you haven't taken advantage of a video consult with me yet, this is for you. Free 30 minutes, you and me, one-on-one, or Nina, if you want to be there with your husband, 1-on-2, so that I can help explain some things. And it's just to say thanks for participating in my webinar. Email me and put in the subject line, free video consultation. But if you're on this webinar, you already registered for it, which means you have an email right now, as of 4 minutes ago, in your inbox. I emailed you all of these specials that I'm running. So you don't have to worry about writing anything down. It's all in the email coming to you now. I'm looking forward to getting to know you and your story and see if I can help you. You need to be reserved by the end of Sunday, September 1st. And that is wrong. That's something I didn't change. By the end of the day tomorrow, the 24th. Okay? I'm sorry. That's supposed to say November 24th. I missed it when I was editing these slides. So you're probably wondering, can a free video consult help you?
I think I've been at my best for less pain just from not exercising the left one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, right.
so
yeah,
we can reverse
helping.
this and get you better. That's awesome.
But I never thought you would not exercise the bad one. Yeah.
Thank you. Yep, so I've officially met Dean today after following the page for probably about a year. and I stopped stretching my injured side probably back in December and have had a lot of symptom improvement since then. So, but I've been having some lingering issues with back tightness, and finally met with Dean today. And through doing a couple of the exercises, I've increased my forward flexion, and I don't think I'm nearly as stiff as I have been in the past few weeks.
So really, we've been together about 20, 25 minutes on the video, talking quite a bit, but doing a couple, actually one exercise, a couple different ways.
Essentially one, yep.
Most people would be really skeptical to jump on a call. And obviously, somebody named Christy must have been, because you've been following me for about a year, and we've talked here and there on the page. So what was it that made you decide today, hey, you know what, I'm going to give Dean a shot?
Well, like I said, I've gotten this far with some pretty good care, I think, and I've been very diligent, but I just feel like there's just something that I'm missing. Just, something that nobody else has been able to provide to me at this point. And through a couple of our interactions just on your page and everything, you seem to offer some pretty sound advice. So I figured I have nothing to lose. I figure it's maybe time for my free consult, as I've been following you for a while. And I had some time today, and so did you. So it just worked out. Thanks, universe.
Awesome. So are you glad that you did this?
I did. I'm glad I finally got to meet you.
How surprised are you that doing an exercise that goes against everything you've probably been taught or that you've probably been doing for yourself, how surprised are you that you were able to get relief in 15 or 20 minutes from just doing 3 simple little things?
Yeah, I mean, that's unexpected, because everybody you go to see or talk to, they go straight to where the pain source is and then work on where the pain is at. They don't tend to work on the opposite side. So it's fascinating, to be honest.
I found Dean. I was a little bit skeptical at first, but it absolutely does work. I've been applying his exercises daily until now. He's giving me more to do today, and I feel great. It's something that really does work. So if you're in the same position right now, just listen to his advice and do what he says, because the guy is a genius and he knows what he's talking about. Don't be afraid, just do it. And that's pretty much what I've got to say. Just listen to him and do it.
Sorry. If you're looking for more, if you are serious about getting the help you need and deserve, just ask yourself what your life would be like if 50% of your symptoms were alleviated. Are you ready to start living with less pain? Did you see or hear anything today that made sense, that's a little different? And you want to find the same relief as thousands of my clients have over the years. And if you are as dedicated and passionate about taking your life back and health back as I am about helping you achieve that, I know we can do it. So here's 2 offers that I'm offering for you guys today. The first one, most of you know that I have a silver online course. It usually runs $69.99 a month. They're month-to-month payments that are automatically taken out unless you cancel, and you can cancel at any time for any reason. What I'm offering today through tomorrow for the first 10 people, and hold on, I'm going to mute everybody again. Sorry for that. For the first 10 people, I'm going to take 40% off the first 3 months. So the first 3 payments, 40% off. That's basically $42 a month for each of the first 3 months. And it's a 5-month program in total. And here's people who actually did that course. Kelly said, I completed the whole course. I'm doing 100% better. I haven't had any pain in a long time. I think the course is great. Hold on one moment. I got some people writing in the chats. I don't have any sound. I missed all that. I'm so sorry. And Manya did the silver course. I don't think there's any reason to change it. I like the videos. They were short and they were to the point. Thanks so much for everything. Then from Tina, she was able to get back to doing pottery after not being able to do it for years. Next, I do video consultations for people one-on-one, 30 minutes at a time. typically they run $150 for 30 minutes. Or people typically buy 4 in advance for $600. So what I'm going to do is today through tomorrow, if you want to pay in advance for 4 sessions and instead of paying $600, you're going to pay $499 or $500. So we're going to knock $100 off of that, and you get the silver membership for free for life. So the difference between this and the silver course, the silver course is you go month by month. When you stop paying, you stop having access. This way, if you want membership for life and access to the course for life, all you need to do is pay $500 for 4 video sessions up front. And so you're saving $100 off the video sessions and about $240 off of the course. Plus, you do not lose it. And there's only 5 available, and you're saving over $350. So just to go over that again, the silver online membership, you get 40% off the first 3 months payments. You need to get that before the 25th. And again, like I said, it is all in the email that I have sent to you guys already. Just click the links. Or you do the video consultation and the silver membership package for $499. You're basically saving $100 off just the video consults, and then you get $250 free towards the course, which saves you over $350. And I just want to say thank you. Thanks for being here today. Greatly appreciate you taking time to listen and watch. And please take advantage of definitely the free video consultation and then saving money in the silver membership course or the 4-pack and the silver membership. My goal was to be done by 12 o'clock. It is 11:57. So I am going to sign off. I'm going to say thank you for joining me. And I so appreciate you trusting. And I hope that you gained some great, valuable lessons from this, and that I hear from you soon, at least to take a free video consultation. You guys have a wonderful Saturday. I look forward to talking to you soon.